What's going on, everyone? So the Sacramento Kings likely end up having a fire sale, especially since they're going to trade De'Aaron Fox. If they trade De'Aaron Fox, you got to imagine that they're probably going to look to trade other guys, right? Sabonis, we'll see what happens with Sabonis. And then Demar Derozan, I would imagine that they'd look to send out. Also, would Demar Derozan want to stick around at that point, right? Because it's just like, well, now there's not De'Aaron Fox. Now you could argue Sacramento might need Demar Derozan more now than ever with De'Aaron Fox's departure, because you're going to need that guy that can help close in the fourth quarter and be that bucket getter for you. So there is some conversation there. But this is a Laker channel, so I want to talk Lakers stuff. Should the Lakers kind of re-engage and explore the potential of bringing back a DeMar DeRozan, or not bringing back, but bringing in a DeMar DeRozan, right? DeMar DeRozan has been linked to the Lakers for numerous seasons now. I mean, for years now. Also, DeMar DeRozan is one of the pieces that the Lakers were trying to target in the offseason to go and acquire, and he ended up going to Sacramento. LeBron was even willing to take a discount to go get DeMar DeRozan. Now, here's the thing. DeMar DeRozan does not look good in Sacramento. But he doesn't look good for the exact reasons why I said it didn't make sense for him to go to Sacramento. It's funny because Sacramento is losing De'Aaron Fox because they decided to go get DeMar DeRozan, which made no sense. Talked about it heavily on this channel. I talked about it on As It Stands Sports. It was illogical. The last thing they needed was another isolation bucket getter. That's the last thing they needed. They didn't need that. They have that in Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, right? But for whatever reason, in their brain, they were like, instead of getting defense, even though we're one of the best offensive teams in the league every year, let's go get another offensive player like the two guys we already have. What happened was Malik Monk got hurt last year, and they were terrible offensively because no one else could self-create, and they panicked. That's what it was. They panicked. Rather than realizing, like, how often are we planning on Malik Monk to be hurt? Like, and guess what? They ended up panicking, and they went and signed and traded for DeMar DeRozan, and now it didn't work, and now you're going to lose De'Aaron Fox over it. So, Tyler, why would the Lakers want that? Why would the Lakers want DeMar DeRozan? Because the Lakers don't have a guy like DeMar DeRozan. The reason I was so high on adding a guy like DeMar DeRozan, even last trade deadline, right, was because the Lakers need a guy like him. They need somebody that can self-create, be a big closer and fourth quarter scorer. DeMar DeRozan every year is one of the best clutch players, and he's one of the best fourth quarter scorers in the league, right? We could use a guy like that. A guy that can come in, shoot over the top, self-create, create a little bit for others, right? The difference with Sacramento and the Lakers is, again, the Lakers have a need for a guy like that. The Sacramento Kings didn't. They have guys like that. Where the Lakers, they don't have that guy. Like Anthony Davis, yeah, he can shoot over the top and self-create at times, but he more is like best around the rim, or just kind of like that, catches the ball and just gives you that little jab step and then that 15-footer, right? LeBron's more of like look down, pull up three, or just like put his head down and bully ball to the basket, right? A guy like DeMar DeRozan who can score in all three levels and be creative and can self-isolate, and you can just give him the rock and let him score, right? I do think that there's value in that. I do think DeMar DeRozan would be better with the Lakers than he is with Sacramento, right? Which he's still been good for Sacramento. It's just, again, it's a redundancy for them. Where on the Lakers, I don't believe it would be a redundancy. I think they'd be fine. Although DeMar DeRozan and Austin Reeves would be a bit of a redundancy. However, I think DeMar DeRozan, as that self-scorer, is just better than Austin Reeves, right? You could argue Austin Reeves is the better all-around player, just playmaker, and, still a guy that can go get you buckets. But DeMar DeRozan, as that just like bucket getter, right? You need 25 a night. He can go get you that, right? I think he is better in that mold, in that shape. Now, off ball, there are some concerns about him playing off ball, but I think he would slot in, and you just let DeMar be DeMar. Right? LeBron he's going to get his 20 regardless. It's LeBron. He just shows up and he's going to go get you a 20 piece, right? Anthony Davis would be the guy, but you just let DeMar be the guy. And LeBron could kind of play around those two between DeMar and Anthony Davis. And which LeBron's already doing that with Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis. So, and you could always have a DeMar DeRozan or a LeBron on the court at all times. So you always have that just bucket getter. Also, DeMar DeRozan, I don't really like him at 20 million or 23 million is what he's making, but I don't think it's like that detrimental, right? I'd still prefer Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine is the better fit, but you could probably get how much is it going to cost you to get DeMar? Like if you could get DeMar for both your seconds, right? Like if you could turn Rui Hachimura and ideally if you could piece it together, if you could do or maybe you go and no, you'd have to do Rui because he's making 23 million. Because I was going to say, because technically you could do like Gabe Vincent, but I'd want to keep Vando, right? Like I'd really want to keep Vando. So to me, it's like, could you go and maybe take Rui plus like Jalen Hood-Schifino and a Christian Wood, and then go get a DeMar DeRozan? Or I guess you'd have to do, it'd have to be Christian Wood. So like Jalen Hood-Schifino, Christian Wood, and Rui Hachimura plus 2 seconds and go get DeMar DeRozan, right? And then if you're the Lakers, you still have Gabe Vincent that you could keep, or you could look to turn him into a center, right? Like, can you package him and a couple other pieces and maybe go get like one of these mid-tier sets? Maybe go get a Robert Williams at that point because you just need 14 million. You just do like Gabe Vincent and another vet minimum guy, and then there's Robert Williams, and now you got like Robert Williams and DeMar DeRozan. But you still have Jared Vanderbilt, Max Christie, and Dorian Finney-Smith as your defensive pieces. I would, and this is just me, I would actually bring Austin Reeves off the bench, or I would trade him to go get that complementary piece that you need, right? Like, if you could turn Austin Reeves into Miles Turner, right? What if Indiana would be willing to take, like, hey, what if we give you Miles Turner? Or Austin Reeves and you give us Miles Turner? If they would be into that, right? Because now you got DeMar DeRozan to play the Austin Reeves role. And you have DeMar DeRozan for the next 3 years. He's making $24.4 million or $23.4 million this year, $24.7 million the next, and then $25.7 the year after that. And that third year, he'd be an expiring contract that you could use to maybe go make a trade, right? So if you can get DeMar DeRozan for cheap, he solves your consistent bucket getter and scorer. Do you then turn Austin Reeves into Miles Turner, right? Because you'd still have your first. So do you take like Austin Reeves in a first, plus you'd have to still fill in another, like $7-8 million in salary, but you could get there, right? Or maybe you do Gabe Vincent and Austin Reeves and go get a Miles Turner, bring Miles Turner in, all right? And then now you got Miles Turner, and then like I would go, because DeMar DeRozan can initiate, and you always have LeBron as like your pseudo point guard, right? So you have the luxury to do things. And DeMar DeRozan was running point guard for San Antonio years ago, right? Like, so he's a guy that can absolutely initiate the offense for you. So you could have DeMar initiate the offense. LeBron could be your pseudo point forward, right? So you could go, say LeBron, because positions basketball sake. So you could slot LeBron at the point if you wanted to, right? But you could go like LeBron, Vando, DeMar DeRozan, Anthony Davis, and Miles Turner, right? Like, I think that's pretty good, right? If you could turn Austin Reeves into Miles Turner, and then you got the Austin Reeves replacement in DeMar DeRozan, and then you could still, if you wanted to, just go get another like minor piece, like a little small piece. Like you solved your center, you solved your defense, and again, LeBron could take a discount, which he was willing to do last season for DeMar DeRozan, and you could free up your full mid-level exception. You could just go get a Bruce Brown in the offseason and go Bruce Brown, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Miles Turner, and then have still Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jared Vanderbilt off the bench for defensive pieces. I don't hate it, right? Again, I still think that there's probably, you can make other arguments for other guys, but DeMar DeRozan, like if you told me Lakers traded for DeMar DeRozan, I'd be excited, like genuinely. Because again, he's a bucket, like that guy can get buckets, right? Say what you want about DeMar DeRozan, the guy go get you, 23, 5, and 5, right? He help with rebounding, help with scoring, and he help with, and we're not like that super fast-paced team like we've been in previous years. So we're really good in the half court. He would help in the half court, and he's a mid-range guy, right? Which I know a lot of people, they think that that's a bad thing. Come playoff time, that's actually a very good thing, right? Because teams in the playoffs are so focused on two elements defensively. close out hard on the three-point line, run the shooters off the line, and pack the paint and defend at the rim. So what's open? All of the mid-range. What teams usually advance the furthest in the playoffs? Teams that are really good in the mid-range. Look at all the teams the last few years, right? Teams like Denver, right? Teams like the Warriors. People think the Warriors are these, this great, three-point shooting team, but they're also very good in the mid-range, right? Phoenix a couple years ago when they went to the finals. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, guys that can operate and knock down the mid-range. Milwaukee had Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, guys that could operate in the mid-range, right? You look at these teams. Boston, yeah, they shoot a ton of threes, but Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, all these guys can operate in the mid-range. Same thing with Cleveland Cavaliers. Same thing with Oklahoma City Thunder. The mid-range is so important once you come to the playoffs because it's usually wide open. So to have a guy like a Demar, that's his office, right? That's where he's setting up shop. So I do think that there is an argument there to be made. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love the idea of a Demar Derozan? Do you hate the idea of a Demar Derozan? Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it out of the way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.